Welcome back to Junk and Rusted Garage. I am James, and that is my 1968 Chrysler Imperial Crown 4-door hardtop. Welcome to part 2 of this build. As you're about to see, the first couple of clips on this particular video, I had audio issues, and I apologize to you for that. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of voiceover work to explain to you what's going on. Please bear with me. I am really new at this, and for some reason, this car is cursed. It even doesn't want me to get the videos out to you without a lot of heartache and frustration. And you're going to see the bulk of the frustration starting in a few minutes, because in this episode, you're going to see what made this whole build go south and why I had to do a lot more than I intended. Sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy it. Please like, share, subscribe, and hype. Also comment. I would love to hear from you. Even if you think I'm an idiot, I want to hear from you. So please enjoy. Okay guys, as you can see, with the help of a friend, I got the car into the shop. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be removing all of this right here so that we can, and the fan as well, so that we can go ahead and get the intake gasket replaced. So let's go ahead and get this fan shroud out of the way right here. And from there, what we're going to have to do is get the radiator out and just go ahead and get started on getting all that done. Okay guys, here we go. Our first step here is to get this upper radiator hose off. I'm going to go ahead and check the fluid in here and see if there's anything in it. Don't quite see anything. Yeah, it looks pretty dry. So we're just going to go ahead and snip this upper radiator hose off real quick, get this clamp undone, and had to get some tools out, some picks, try to get the hose to break loose. Keep in mind guys that that hose was on that radiator for over 30 years. It had hermetically sealed itself to the radiator. And I did fight it for quite some time. You can see how I'm tugging on it and fighting it and looking at so I'm even moving the car back and forth pretty good, just trying to get that hose off and getting the big tool out there to get it pried off. And here in a minute, you can see that I'm actually bending the tool, trying to get it to pry off right about here. I'm actually bending that tool out there. Looking at the raw footage, it took me over 8 minutes to get this hose to pop loose. But I did eventually get it. And we're going to shove it off here pretty soon. And there it goes. Now, our next step is to get that lower radiator hose off, and that does require a pan. So we just scooted a pan underneath the car. And I'm assessing the situation, and we're going to get our wrench out there and just go ahead and pull that hose right on off. And that's what came out of the bottom of the radiator when I got the hose off. It was green fluid, but it was very old and it stunk. And now what we're trying to do is we're trying to get that fan shroud off. It was 6 bolts. 3 on one side, 3 on the other. And I decided to get the power tool out because I was working stupid manually and not with power. And then I decided to get a magnet to hold my little bolts up there, and there goes the first bolt. And we're just going to zip these other bolts right off as fast as we can. And now we're going to the next one. And that is the third one on that side. And I only had like a 2-degree play window, and it took forever to get that off. And the other side was just as cramped. So we're going to go ahead and zip the other ones off. The top 2 came off pretty much without any issue. And I'm going to go ahead and get those bolts put into the magnet. Here we go, E in the E. And now we're fighting to get that third bolt out. And it took me a while, guys, I'm not going to lie. That one fought me. And there we go. Now, whoop, there we go. And it goes. And now we're going to go ahead and remove the fan shroud. Had already removed the fan earlier, if you'll recall, in part 1. So this was a pretty easy access here. And shaking all the leaves and debris and rat poop out. And the inside of this thing was pretty nasty. And there I'm showing you where the bolts lined up for the fan shroud and the radiator. And that's where I'm talking about. I had no room there at all. And when I was rooting around in there, I found the battery tie down, which is good. Now the next step is to get those trans cooler lines off so that we can go ahead and get the radiator snipped right on out. And what we're going to be doing is going to be using heat. And right there is our source. So we're going to go ahead and heat up these nuts on the trans cooler lines. And we're going to get those zipped right on off after we get them heated up and lubed down with some penetrating lube. After a while of exposing those nuts on those trans cooler lines to some heat, we went on ahead and shot some penetrating lube. Oh, almost lost my heat gun. All right. And we shot some penetrating lube on those nuts to get that stuff to get in there to break them free. In an attempt to not have to do trans cooler lines to this car. And went ahead and got my line wrench on it and got the first one knocked loose, and then we went to the second one. And here we are taking off the second trans cooler line. And now it is time to take out the radiator. So we're going to go ahead and snip this radiator out. There's 2 bolts holding it in place on the top. And here goes the first one. I'm going to put that bolt right up here on the magnet. And now we're going to zip off the second bolt. Okay, let's put that up here. Oop, dropped it. Make sure you stay up there. There we go. Stay. Now let's pull this radiator out. Yeah, there's still some fluid in it. I can feel it. So we're just going to go ahead and tilt it forward and let it all drain out back into the bucket that's on the bottom of the car. And just about done. Now let's take this radiator over here and set it aside. Now when I had the radiator out of the way, I noticed that there was something on the bottom of the car that was kind of wedged in there. And I tried to get it out, and when I pulled it out, I noticed that it was the missing piece to the battery tie down, the factory battery tie down. So I was quite pleased to see that, because I can hold down my battery without having to use anything jerry-rigged. And it was kind of interesting to see that that stayed in place all those years. Now moving on, we got to get the carburetor off. Now I decided to keep the linkage on the carburetor that went to the throttle, only because it was kind of a bear to get off. And that's what I was showing now. When I was trying to pull the carburetor off, because I already moved the studs, I noticed that something was holding it in place. And that something was the choke mechanism that was bolted to the intake. So we're just going to go ahead and zip that off right there. It's a single bolt that is fine threaded, which I found kind of unusual. So it took a little while to get it off, but it came off without any problem. And with that bolt removed, we just went on ahead and removed the carburetor. It was snagged up on a couple of things, but we managed to get it off. And there it goes. And we're going to set that off to the side. Now with the carburetor off, I noticed that there was quite a bit of debris rat poop, you name it, inside the intake and around the intake, on the back of the bell housing, all over the engine bay. So the decision was made at this point to go on ahead and clean up everything with a shop vac. Vacuuming discovered more issues. That hole got bigger, as you can see. At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off the entire accessory drive so we can gain access to the actual intake. Okay, with the accessory drive out of the way, I noticed that the cooling system was not in the best of shape, as you can see right there. That's the thermostat, and there's debris inside of there, just sitting, corrosion. And the overall condition of the intake, there was a lot of packed in stuff that I couldn't get with the vacuum. Overall, the entire engine bay was not in great of shape. And I did remove the air compressor, and as I'm talking here that the recording didn't pick up, I was commenting that there was actual pressure in the air conditioning system. Not a lot, but enough to where it was holding pressure. So I was pointing out right there that that O-ring was probably in good shape until I removed it. Well, things have escalated, as you can see. Not only does this thing have a massive hole back here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, right down there. You see? That's a massive hole. We also have one right here. So, yep, it's got to come out. And I'm glad I'm doing this. I'm at a stopping point for the day. So hopefully tomorrow I can have it torn the rest of the way down and start the reassembly process as soon as I get my parts. Good morning. So finally the next day we're back on the 1968 Chrysler Imperial, and we got some work to do to get this thing ready for reassembly. So I've got to remove the intake. We're going to be removing the timing chain cover. We're going to be dropping the oil in the motor, and we're going to get everything cleaned up, repainted, and put back together once the parts come in on Tuesday. Today is Sunday, so it gives us all day today, all day tomorrow, and a good portion of maybe Tuesday to get everything done and get this thing reassembled. Yeah, right. That's not going to happen. While we wait for parts, because it won't take us that long to get everything tore apart, is we're going to go ahead and start the cleanup procedure on the inside of the car. So let's go ahead and get dug in, and let's get started, and let's get going. All right, fellas, let's see if we can get this thing going. I'm not as agile as I once was just 5 years ago, let alone 20, but I think I can still get in here with a little bit of help. Okay, do we have the right socket on this thing? I have no idea, but some of the bolts are already undone on this thing, so let's start picking them, start undoing them. Oh, can't get a bite. There we go. Come on.
And we should be able to, let's see, unbolt this thing. This intake should just come right out.
Shortly, I will learn to eat those words.
Got a couple of oh, don't tell me. Come on. There she is. Ah. Let's go back to the conventional one. There we go. There we go. My fear is breaking one of these things off in the intake. That would ruin my day. It would take this from, oh, not a big job at all, to several hour nightmare.
I just had to say something, didn't I?
There we go. Got that one to start. Am I missing any others? I don't think so. We unbolted the majority of them yesterday. I should have just went ahead and pulled it, but we had some things we had to do last night. That used to be an engine ground, and it went to that firewall. Now, unless I am severely mistaken, this thing should just come right out. All right, it's not going to come straight up, I don't think. Yeah, let's get a hammer and a chisel. And we're going to carefully extract. Oh boy, I'm not limber. Not limber anymore. So I got a little claw hammer here. Let's see if we can do the thing here. That way. Oh, you stuck on there. Get an actual chisel. Lord have mercy. This whole intake valve is gone. I missed one. I don't think I did. I know one way to get it off. I could lift it off of the engine hoist. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just... Ooh. Am I seeing that right? This side's let me come off. This sucker's stuck. For sure. I'm not asking no more.
It was right about here I wish I had stopped and reevaluated the situation.
Give me a minute, guys. This is gonna fight me.
Well, guys, after fighting it for about 15 minutes, I got it to break loose, and it was definitely stuck. Stuck really, really, really good. See if I can get this heavy sucker out of here. And here you see my critical mistake. Come on, baby. Try not to destroy anything. Bless America, this thing's heavy. Okay. Oh. I see the problem. Oh no. Oh no. I just broke the head. There was another bolt. Damn it. Buried, I didn't see it.
Well, guys, it's bad. That's what's left of the intake. And I made a critical error, and it may cost me the motor. Definitely the head. Now, I'm of the opinion, even though I was prying on it with a pry bar, that should not have happened. I want to turn your attention to the oil. You know, I lost my big light, so, but you see how milkshaky that oil is? Now, that could very well be the fact that there was gigantic holes in the intake, manifold gasket, and that moisture got in the engine with it sitting. That is a possibility. Car is going to need definitely a set of heads now. And just by preliminary looks, I mean, I'm looking at the camshaft. It looks pretty good. I'll see a little discoloration. Well, actually, I think that's just the oil. I don't know. Let me run a vacuum on this thing real quick because it needs it. And let's do an assessment on it, and we will go from there. Well, we have escalations. I've got the motor pretty much tore down, and I want to show you how poor of condition this thing really was in. When you touch the valve, the rockers, it's just got milkshake goo on it, and that's beyond the rust and the carbon buildup. It's on this side too. Pretty bad, actually. I'm going to get on the line. I want to see if I can find another set of heads for this thing, and see if I can find even used that are good or whatever. Let me see what I can find. I don't know if this is going to shut us down or not. This motor's in pretty bad shape to begin with, and it's the way she goes sometimes. But let's see what we can do. I mean, if this were a two-door, yeah, all day long. Let me do some contemplation, and we will go from there. Okay, guys, we have assessed the situation.
As you can see, we have catastrophic damage to that head. So that has to be replaced. I have the valley pan covered. Underneath that valley pan, inside that engine, you will see milkshakey oil. So I don't know if this thing has a bad head gasket, if it had a cracked head, and that's why that let go, because that was not supposed to do that at all. But it was my mistake, so I'm owning it. Or do we have a cracked block? It's a mystery at this point. Now, if we look at the condition of the rocker shafts, the inside of the head, it's on both sides. There's so much debris and everything that has gotten into this thing. I think our best bet at this point is to try to source a cheap set of heads. Found a guy on Facebook Marketplace who has a set of 452 heads, which is late 70s Malaise era, but on this engine, it really doesn't matter because this engine will not produce the amount of power that is advertised it will produce. So, but these 452 heads, they have 500 miles on them on a fresh rebuild. And they're assembled, ready to go. The only problem is he's in Oklahoma City. I live in Dallas, Texas. So I got to call into him, see what he has to say about it. And since we were doing, I went ahead and painted the intake, the valve covers. I had to do something. These valve covers are horrible, absolutely horrible. Yeah, they were rusted on the inside completely. That's after me cleaning it up as best as I could. Yeah, there's no way on God's creation. I mean, look at that. Just touching the inside of that thing is just rusted. There's no way under God's creation that this motor has only been sitting 10 years. I believe the window sticker. That window sticker is 1996. This engine has sat for 30 years. There's no possible way that that much rust has gotten into this engine in just 10 years. But we know this motor will run. We heard it run. So this is a gut punch, but I'm counting my blessings because if this thing had a bad head gasket, which we're going to find out as soon as we pop those heads off, we would be right doing this no matter what. So I'm not mad yet. I wish I didn't break the head, but if that head was cracked, same story. So we are at a work standstill right now. I don't want to spend much more effort on this thing until I know I can source a set of heads. What's up, guys? Let's put gas in my diesel because we're heading up to Oklahoma City. Go buy a set of 440 heads by Chrysler. When you find a deal on Craigslist, or excuse me, not Craigslist, but the Marketplace, you jump on it. Assembled, ready to bolt on heads with rocker shafts. They're kind of hard to come by on a 440 big block Mopar. God forgive me, guys, I got the flu pretty bad. If it wasn't for this, I'd be sitting in bed right now because I'm really sick. I'm running about 101 fever. I have a burning sensation in my chest when I breathe and when I talk. But like I said, if you find a deal, you gotta jump on it, sick or no sick. So we're gonna be booking 230 some odd miles up to Oklahoma City to homeboy's house. We'll see if these heads are what they say they are. Ready to bolt on. Probably supposedly had 500 miles runtime on them. He took them off a running driving motor, put aluminum heads on it. These are stock heads. The Malays era heads. So, bigger CC. I'm going to lose a little bit of compression. I really don't care. This Imperial's not a hot rod. I just want it running, and I want it running reliably. So, 230 miles. Let's do a tour. Well, I'm about 100 miles in or so. Just about to cross over Red River. I'm not feeling any better. Oh boy, I hope I get home. But we're doing the thing. So let's see. I'll check in with you when we get there. The Red River.
Welcome to Oklahoma.
We are now in Oklahoma. Heads acquired. Now let's get back to Dallas. Hey guys, it is about a week later. We had to put this project on hold well, I wouldn't say indefinitely, but I had to put the project on hold because I had to go out of town. Had to go up to New Mexico. And the reason why I had to go to New Mexico is because we had a death in the family, and we had to leave quite abruptly. We will be going back to New Mexico in a couple of weeks for the actual service itself. But my long story short, my spouse's stepfather passed away. He was a good guy. I'm going to miss him. But anywho's, we're going to get back onto this thing today. It's kind of late in the afternoon. I had to get a lot of running around to do. I have a set of head gaskets coming for this thing. Because as you recall, we have to go ahead and pull the heads off. I'm going to pull the exhaust off. And on both sides, get the rocker shafts off. And then we're going to tear this thing down to the short block. I'm also going to go ahead and pull the water pump assembly as one unit, and we're gonna get everything painted up, all the old gaskets scraped off. I got new gaskets for the water pump stuff. I got a brand new water pump. We're just gonna get this thing dolled up. We're gonna do a little Craigslist rebuild on it, and yeah, we're gonna put it back together. While I'm here, I might as well go ahead and do the fuel pump. I got a brand new, new used fuel pump. This is the one that came off of the L Code 440 car, and I replaced it already. And come to find out this pump worked. The other one doesn't because of the fuel pump shaft on it. That's another story. But everything is exactly as I left it a week ago. I haven't touched anything. This thing's just been sitting here. So let's get dug in. Let's get to work. And let's see if I can at least get this thing torn down the short block tonight. So when I get the head gaskets tomorrow morning, we can just start reassembly. Forgive me guys, my audio cut out, but here I am showing you the overall condition of the rocker shafts after I got them off the head. As you can see, they're pretty heavily rusted. Some of those rocker arms did not move freely on the shaft.
So there's been quite a bit of moisture sitting in this engine for a very, very long time. The guy I got it from said that he had driven it as recently as 10 years prior. I just don't believe him. That motor had been sitting for at least 30 years. So, abysmal condition. And here I'm showing you the overall condition of the heads themselves. You can see there's a lot of rust on the perches and whatnot. There had been no way that these heads would have been viable. So I'm glad we went on ahead and replaced the heads on the motor. Okay guys, as you can see, I do have the head off at this point, and I'm honing in here on this area where the head broke. As you can see, there's quite a bit of moisture between the back two cylinders and the chamber. Also note the heavy carbon buildup on the combustion chamber and on the valves. This thing has a lot of miles on it, so it is a 107,000 mile motor, but I wasn't 100% sure if the moisture was caused by the cracked head at that point, or was it a blown head gasket. The head gasket itself didn't appear to be blown per se, but it had been heavily worn. And as we come in here on the engine, you can see that same moisture. So it did get in between the head gasket and the deck of the motor, which is a little unusual. And also, please note that you see the water jackets on the top of the cylinders. They are all 100% blocked off, with the exception of the water jack on the front of the motor. So this motor probably had an overheating problem at some point in time later in its life, which kind of leads to the suspicion that maybe the head gasket may have been going out the door. Please also note the heavy carbon buildup inside the on top of the piston, excuse me. And there is no cross hatching left on any of these cylinders. This motor is pretty worn, and take note of that ring ridge. You can actually see it on camera. It's quite impressive, actually. Also take note that there is no marking on top of the piston that can be seen. This is a virgin block. It has never been gotten into before. This was as Mopar built it. And here I'm showing you the water jacket that's in front of the motor. As you can see that there is quite a bit of rust buildup and whatnot in that. So it wasn't completely plugged up, but it wasn't helping the cause of this engine. I honestly believe this engine had an overheating problem. And here we're looking at the heads again. I just was getting a close-up on it. As you can see, there's, again, a lot of carbon buildup. And then we go to the next cylinder. Pretty much the same thing. All the valves look okay. Same thing here. Now, this is my suspicion right here. Yeah, that valve looks suspiciously funny to me. And if you notice, the head gasket was bent outward at the very end, which I thought was highly suspicious. You can see it right there on the right-hand side of your screen.
Hey guys, it's a couple of days later, and I just now went through my video archive on what I've done to the car so far, and my microphone didn't work at all. So I'm going to have to do some voiceover work on that. You probably just heard it, but I just want to give you an update. Last couple of days I've been sicker than a dog. I don't know what diseases went into my body to cause me to just be able to open my eyes and stare into the hideous abyss. But that's what I've done the last 2 days, and I've done a lot of sleeping. I'm actually feeling subhuman today, so we're going to be back out here trying to get this thing wrapped up. Did get the one head off, as you can see, and we got motor almost tore completely apart. I got one more head to take off. Want to get that water pump housing off today, and we're going to start cleaning everything, vacuuming everything up. I got some debris in the cylinder walls and whatnot. The motor is heavily worn. It's got 107,000 miles on it. So the one thing I did notice is that the head gasket is the original Mopar head gasket that came on the car in '68. They were 906 heads. So it kind of sucks for going with a smaller or a larger CC head. It's going to lower the compression on the motor a little bit. Did have a blown head gasket. It did. Blew in a weird location though. Usually they blow in the middle. This one blew on the 6-8 location, which is kind of weird, but didn't blow. I think it blew recently, right before the motor got shut down, because normally everything is clean when it comes to a head gasket blow. This one's not. But it's evident it had a leak because there's just a bunch of oil and water going down the middle of those two cylinders. So either that or the head was cracked. One of the two. But that could be causing our issue. I'm really curious to see what the other side looks like. But got to go source some new push rods. That's one of the 16 push rods that came out of it. Now, as you can see, that is covered in rust. Now, this is one of the good ones. That's a bad one. Completely rusted. And you can probably see, the camera's going to pick it up, all that heavy pitting and everything like that. There's no way I'm putting that back in the car. So we got to source 16 new push rods. I'm just going to go ahead and buy brand new. Sorry for the sun, guys. We're just going to go ahead and buy brand new and go with it. Now, most people would say, oh, put those back in, they'll be fine, you're going to turn the car anyway, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they might be fine. But rust does weaken them. And I have this thing called a conscience. And ultimately somebody else is going to wind up with this car. And I've bought and sold over 100 cars in my life. I've had no one ever come back to me and say, you sold me a piece of crap, this, that, and the other. I kind of pride myself on that. I have a good reputation. So, yeah, we're not doing that. We're going to try to get it as solid as possible, because I'm going to be taking on a 4,000-mile road trip before I sell it, and I don't want to break down. Now, if the car breaks down due to my own mechanical stupidity, that's one thing. But if I know it's not right, and I know it needs to be corrected, and I don't correct it, that's on me. And we're not going to have that. So I'm going to measure this push rod, because the ones that are on the market, they vary slightly. So I want to see exactly what we have to work with. I'm going to use my micrometer, and we will go from there. I need to go get push rods. I got to pick up my head gaskets for this thing. I need to get some copper spray. I need a donut gasket, because I removed the driver's side manifold off the car to get the passenger side head off, if that makes any sense. And it was tight. It's going to be a bear putting it back in. I should have pulled the motor. I should have. But I didn't, and here we are. So, all right, let's get to work. Let me measure this up. Let me get a measurement on it, and we're going to hop in the truck, go get our parts, and I'll be back with you as soon as we get back from town. Well, guys, I've made it over here to the Summit Racing in Arlington, Texas. And here to pick up some parts. Beautiful dog. This place is dangerous. My YouTube channel doesn't take off, I'm gonna go broke. They have a big scratch and dent section next door. It's hard not to walk in there and not buy anything. Let's see if we can get goodies acquired. Take a look at this. You know you're at Summit Racing when you see things like this in the parking lot. Look at that bad boy. Parked next to it. Pretty sweet little old Mustang. Get me home before I spend any more money. Actually, I forgot. I gotta swing by my local O'Reilly and pick up the head gaskets I ordered 3 days ago that I was too sick to pick up. It's already 1:05 in the afternoon. It's a blessing having this thing here in the Metroplex, but those of y'all who don't understand, the Metroplex is huge. And coming here and going home, that's a minimum of 2 hours. Because I just can't walk in there and go after what I came for and walk out. It doesn't work that way. I have to look at every single thing that is available. All of you ladies out there watching, I understand what y'all go through when y'all go shopping. I get it. Come on, pig, let's go. All right, get to O'Reilly. Well, I'm back. We got our head gaskets. Velcro head gaskets. Interesting enough, they say on it, seals minor surface, can't talk. Seals minor surface, if I learn English, seals minor surface, that. It also says use no sealer. So let's get dug in. Let's get this other head popped off real quick. Then I want to get the timing chain cover popped off. And then we're just going to start cleaning surfaces and cleaning the motor and getting on top dead center. And yeah, pull the timing set, put the new timing set in it, and start reassembly. Okay, let's see if we can get this other bolt off, or other head off.
All right, so one water jacket plugged. You can see that or not. Yeah. That's the plug I cleaned out. That one's burning rich. Yeah, you can't really see all this. Let me turn on the light. Yeah. That's plugged up. That's plugged up. Full of rust. And we look on the motor side of things. Yeah, it's all plugged up. You can see, ooh, I don't know, guys. Look at that. I don't know. I think this engine, it's buildable, but look at it, guys. It's just, it's not very goodly. Let's take this head gasket off real quick. Read on a little bit. That side's okay. That head gasket there blew. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to try cleaning up all that carbon on all the 8 cylinders. I'm going to try to open up the water jackets a little bit, try to get that cleaned out. I'm going to vacuum a lot of this stuff out. I want to inspect the block on that side. I want to make sure that the oilers are not cracked or anything like that. And we will go from there. I mean, look at that. It's just, yeah. It's just nasty. That's one of the oilers right there. Which maybe that side, now I'm thinking about it, since the head broke, maybe that side irped when you can see how bad, just bad all this is. Let me look at all that. Maybe it's just the fact that that side irped when we pulled. Well, that's straight up water. Yeah, let's clean all this up. God, I hope this block is. I mean, look at all that, guys. Yeah, this motor has seen better days. Okay, guys, I cleaned it up kind of as best as I could with the vacuum and whatnot, and had a bunch of sludge in the valley pan. So I broke it up with a screwdriver as best I could, vacuumed it up as best I could. You know, it kind of is what it is. This block needs to be vatted, but are we doing that? No, we're not. I did break loose all the water jackets. 3 of them were plugged up solid. 1 was plugged up solid on this side, so I broke them all loose. Good news, the balancer is on top dead center, and so is the piston. Actually, it's a little bit past top dead, just a slight hair. So, if I get my wrench back on it. Doing this one-handed is kind of hard. Look there. Oh, too far. I need two hands to do this. That's pretty much dead nuts accurate. And that piston is that top dead center. I'm surprised the balancer is correct. I really am. I'm gonna rotate it slowly. We're gonna knock down all the carbon and everything. I'm gonna wash it down, and then we're gonna drain the oil. We're gonna do several oil changes this thing before it goes on any long trips. Just trying to get everything cleaned up. First oil change, I'm gonna run a quart of ATF out of it for about 100 miles to clean all this up, along with some motor purr. I'm gonna order some motor purr. I'm gonna get on the line and do that real quick. I mean, I pulled a couple of the lifters, the ones I can get out. I pulled about 3 or 4 of them. There's a few of them that are mushroomed that I couldn't quite get out. I didn't want to force it because I don't want to run the risk of not getting it back in. But the ones I pulled look pretty good. The bump stick, as I'm moving it over, looks pretty good. I don't see any major issues. The beautiful thing about a Mopar is you can actually look down in the valley pan and actually see the, and put your finger on the camshaft. I don't see anything out of the order. I mean, that one spins freely, that one spins freely, that one spins freely. I mean, all these spin pretty well. You know, that was a little tight, but it's on the back part of the lobe. Yeah, I think the top end's gonna be okay. I'm more concerned about, you know, the oil consumption problem and the dirt and everything and the condition of the block. But I think we do our oil changes the way we're supposed to. I think we'll be all right. I do want to order a new one of those. That is horrible. If it works, I'd be surprised. That is the oil sending unit for the light, if I'm not mistaken, and that's for the gauge, I believe. So I'm going to order both of those because this thing does have a light and a gauge in it. Just like this is the gauge and light for temperature of water. And we're also going to order some motor purr clean up for the radiator, and we're also going to do a leak test on that radiator by running my smoke machine on it and see what kind of shape that's in. I may have to buy a radiator for it, but let me get at it. I'm going to clean up these pistons with a wire brush. I'm going to push them all up top dead center. I'm going to push this one up top dead center, that one, so on and so forth. I'm going to just do one side at a time. Try to get the pistons cleaned up as best I can, wash it down, drain the oil. Then we're going to get this off and get the timing chain set off. Got to pull the, I may have to go back to O'Reilly and get me a harmonic balance puller. I don't think I have one. But we're going to have to get that off so I can get this device, this whole setup off. We're going to paint it, and we're going to start reassembly. I want to be burning gasoline in this thing in a couple of days, guys. So I got my work cut out for me, and I got a lot of work to do, so let me stop yammering and get to working. Okay, guys, just want to show you what I'm doing real quick. As you can see, I got some of the pistons cleaned off. They're pretty heavily carboned. I'm just taking my bottle of cleaner. You know, it's a mystery what it is, but I can tell you this much, it cleans real super. You know, if they wanted to sponsor me, I'm all for that, because I use this stuff religiously. If they sponsor me, I'll put it in their own bottle. Anywho, so I'm just taking that, a brush. I thought I had a really stiff nylon brush. I don't. So I'm using a very short hand steel brush, and I'm lightly scrubbing. Is this the right way to do it? Probably not. Am I doing it this way? Yes. Is it going to make a difference? No. And we're just going over it and scrubbing it down. I'm doing 2 pistons at a time, because when this one's at the top of the height of the block, so is, you know, that one back there, so I'm doing 2 at a time. So we're just going to get this knocked out real quick, get it wiped down, get it cleaned up. Just trying to make sure I'm doing my little circles here. Trying not to get into the top of the cylinder at all. And we're just knocking this down. But stuff does pretty good. So we're just gonna work that. We'll get them all 8 done, get all cleaned up, and I'll check in with you when I'm done. Okay, I got all 8 holes cleaned up. As you can see, it's a little dusty in here because you can see all that dust. I've been wire wheeling some parts. There's my intake, my valve covers, and I went ahead and painted. I pulled the pulley off. I went ahead and painted it, wire wheeled some of the other accessory drive and everything like that. I think I got, I want to Scotch-Brite that air cleaner and paint it too. But I'm just kind of cleaning and whatnot as I'm going along. It's kind of cold in here, so it may take a while for that stuff to flash off. Excuse me. I'm still sick. So I'm going to clean up some of that mess down there. We do have to get the pulley off, and I don't have a pulley puller, harmonic balance puller. So we're going to have to get that done. I'll also have to get in the trunk once I get all the parts off of it, and paint the fan too. So at this point, guys, as soon as I get that off and get the timing set out, yeah, we're reassembling. Fingers crossed. I remember how it goes back together. I got bolts strung everywhere. I honestly don't know where everything is. But I suppose that is par for the course for most people, right? I'm going to take a small break and I'm going to regroup and see what we're going to do from here on out. Well, come to find out I did have a puller. So I went ahead and pulled the balancer off, and now I can get a vacuum in there and get that cross member cleaned up pretty well. And I think at this point, I think we may just go ahead and start cleaning the motor a little bit and get some of that surface exposed down there. And yeah, start getting that excavated so I can pull the timing chain cover. And hopefully we don't damage that pan gasket. If we do, I am getting a cherry picker out, because we got to raise the motor enough to get the pan dropped so we can do an old pan gasket. Hopefully we don't have to do that.
We have updates. We got the motor torn down about as far as it's going to get torn down, with the exception of that timing chain. I want to show you something. I thought I was done for the night, but I decided to press on. I thought, you know, I only got a couple hours of work to do. It only took me about an hour and a half. And I forgot to film it. My apologies, guys. I got so wrapped up in it and so engrossed in it, I just did it. So I got the timing chain off, got the water pump off, cleaned up all my surfaces, got all my surfaces ready to go to have the gaskets put back on. Look at this. Excuse me. I'll live. I want to show you something. You can actually take the cam sprocket and move it back and forth. That is the sloppiest timing chain I've seen in a long time. Take the oil slinger off. I'll leave it up here for right now. But yeah, tomorrow I'm going to come out here. I'm going to pop that off. I'm going to put the new one on. And then it's reassembly. And I think before I go any further with it, it's time to drain the oil. The oil slinger's rusted. How does an oil sling get rusted? I'm going to start putting it back together. I'm going to clean up this as much as I can. We're going to spray bomb it. Try to make it a little bit better appearance-wise. And, you know, fingers crossed, toes crossed that this thing's actually going to be a decent runner. I know it will run. I have no doubt in my mind it will run. But will it run good? Maybe. Will it be an oil user? Most probably. Will it get me 4,000 miles? If I keep oil in it, sure. And that's just the engine. We still got to do brakes. I still got to go through that system. We still got a fuel system to do. We still got a lot of work to get done on this thing. So, just a spoiler alert, we're going to stop part one at when this motor fires back over. Part two is going to be brakes and fuel system. And then hopefully we can get it on the road with some tires. And we still got electrical. I mean, you know, there's things missing. You know, there's things that are chopped up, not hooked up. And so we're far from calling this a success. Well, thank you for sticking with me on this. I don't do this very often. As a matter of fact, I've only built one motor in my life. That was a small block Chevy, not a big block Mopar. I have seen many big block Mopars go back together. I even participated in putting that motor back together. But I'm not the one that built it, you see. But I participated in putting that thing back together and putting it in the car. So I know a thing or two about it. But I've only built one motor from ground up, and that was a small block Chevy. Same concept, same basic principles, just a few other quirks and idiosyncrasies involved with it. Well, I'm going to call it a night. It's getting cold out here. I want to get up early tomorrow morning. Reassembly is going to be challenging because I have no idea where I put anything. I need organization in my life. So, I will see you guys tomorrow. Good afternoon. We're going to be back at this car. It's actually 2 days later. Got a confession for you guys. I've actually been sick quite a bit off and on the last couple of weeks. So much so that tomorrow morning I am going to the doctor. Because I got to get rid of what is ailing me. And I know what it is. Long story short, I have an esophageal problem. I was diagnosed with it a couple years ago, and it's getting bad. It's really getting bad. So we're going to go to the doctor tomorrow. We're going to get that taken care of. What we're on right now, I got to get that seal out of the timing chain cover, and I got the new one sitting on the car over there. But this one's been on the car for, almost 60 years, so it's fighting me. So I'm gonna try to get an air chisel after it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I tried to pry it out. It came out a little bit, but not much. Got the rubber. This rubber is just so hard. It's like a rock. It's just wasn't going to seal, so we have to get that kind of squared away, and that's what we're going to do. So let me get that done, and I'll be right with you. And just like that, a little couple taps with the air hammer, came right off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find a block of wood or something like that, clean this up, and try to hammer that in place. It kind of just goes right on in there, doesn't it? So give me just a few minutes, let me get that in there, and I'll be right with you. I got my workbench here. Basically a big old block of wood. Got a rubber mallet. Oh, excuse me. And I got a steel plate. Now, I don't want to destroy this thing getting it in there, so I'm going to just gently take this rubber mallet. We're going to give it a couple of love taps right about here. And of course, it's not going in straight. Driver home. Well, looking at it, it looks pretty level in there. Yeah, it seals up against the lip, so it's installed. I'm gonna go ahead and tape this up. We're gonna paint this along with these other parts here. And we're gonna start putting the car back together as soon as I get that timing sprocket out. Let's get to work on that. All right, we're in our paint booth. In a multi-million-dollar shop here. Now, I think I mentioned this earlier. This is the wrong color for this motor, but it's what Summit had, so that's what we're going with. It is a Chrysler color. And we're just trying to make this engine a little bit more presentable. Oh, yeah, my shoulders prevent me from doing certain movements here. My apologies. I'm not getting that lit very well, am I? And it's cold in here, so it's going to take 50 billion years for that to cure up. While I'm here in the paint booth, might as well touch up some of the stuff that I missed on the intake. All right, where's the acetone? Let me get this stuff off my hands. Guys, you'll have to forgive me. This camera does not allow me to use my lavalier mic, so I hope you can hear me. But I just want to show something to you. I just took off, I'm getting ready to pull the timing set. Pulled the bolt out of the top sprocket. Let me see if this camera's going to pick up on this. I did clean it, but that's pitting. See if I can get it a little bit closer. If it'll focus. Yeah, that's all pitting. whole front end of this motor is rusted. Junk and rusted. I know how to pick them, don't I? Look at that. That side's okay, that's just dirt. But that's the outside of the oil slinger. And all that is rust. I'm gonna wire wheel it. I think it'll be all right. I'm not a motor guy, but what are you gonna do? Work with what you got. There she is. Now I did get this pretty close to top dead center. It should be pretty close to it. So let me go root around and get the other timing set. I'm an idiot. I had thought when I ordered a whole bunch of parts for this car that I included the timing set for it. I didn't. So I have a call into the local O'Reilly. They're gonna have a timing set here by 4:30. And I got obligations tonight, which I may cancel because I need to get this car on the road. So I'm kind of dead in the water until then. Now I can drain the oil in it. I'm going to be throwing some motor purt in this crankcase, and it's in an attempt to get rid of all the sludge that's in this engine. And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay guys, with the timing set out of the way, you can actually see what I'm talking about. That's the oil inside the crankcase. And if we mix it up a little bit, you see all that? Yeah, that's water and sludge and nastiness and everything else. I mean, just look at that. Milkshake. So we're gonna flush this engine with motor purt. As a matter of fact, since we're kind of dead in the water at this juncture, it's probably prudent for me just going ahead and drain the motor or drain the fluids out of it. So let's go ahead and get the car up in the air and do that real quick while we're waiting, and just get it out of the way because I want to make sure I'm letting it drain for a good minute. And we will then put oil in it. So give me a second. Let me scooch on under here real quick. We're going to use that drain pan. I can't remember what size this is. I do believe it's a 7/8. There we go. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh my God, that's just diarrhea. Oh. Not good. Well, we're doing head gaskets. We're gonna let this do its thing for, 75 years or however long it's gonna take for it to finish puking and having its diarrhea. But you saw the chunks. You saw how bad this is. And I'm putting my chances at 50-50 if this thing's going to be a runner at all. Yes, it's good thing is it's got no viscosity at all. Oh, it's heavy gasoline smell. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Look at all that chunk. Oh my gosh. I don't see any sparklies, believe it or not. Ooh. What if I should grab a screwdriver and start hammering it? Let me show you the pan. See, all that's just dirt. Look at all that. I mean, that's just straight up milkshake, guys. But what I don't see, sparklies. Yeah. What do you think? You think I'm wasting my time? Oh my God. I know why the radiator was empty. Oh no. Okay. That's why it was parked. That's why it's parked. All right, what did I come over here for? Long screwdriver, it's over here. Let's see if we can make it flow a little faster. That might be a mistake. We'll see. That'll work. Give me a minute. I did this once in a Ford F-150. Oh. Lovely. We're going to do that. I want to make sure we back it up a little bit. Come on, baby. There we go. Try it again. Nope, not coming out any faster. Well, I'm going to give it some time. I'm going to go inside the house and yeah, we're going to go inside the house. Oh, turn off the light. Let that do it. Ouch, let that do its thing. I'll check in about an hour. It's going to probably take that long for it to all come out. I want to make sure as much of that nastiness is out of the thing as possible. All right. Get something to eat. Good morning. And it is actually morning this time. It's a couple days later. I finally got my timing set in. With a Quotes standard timing set. It's the cheapest one I can find on a short notice. I had to go pick it up from O'Reilly at their will call at their DC. But we finally got it in. We're going to put that in today. My goal is to button this motor up. It's been exposed a little bit too long. Excuse that. It's been exposed a little bit too long. I did spray some WD-40 down the cylinders so that they wouldn't flash rust. They flash rusted anyway. So we're gonna clean that up a little bit. So when we get the timing set on, we're gonna get the timing chain cover back on. We're gonna clean the motor up a little bit, paint it, put the heads on it, you know, all that good stuff, you know. So we're just gonna, our goal today is to button up the motor and get it sealed back up. So let's go ahead and get started. Forgive me, I don't have a flat space to work. So we're gonna get this thing kind of lined up here real quick. Remember, we already have the motor pretty much top dead center. So we want to align this thing up to where these little dots on the, I don't know if you can see that, there's little dots on the timing set. They got to line up together. And there's a center point right here in the middle of the block. And once we get this installed, we can make sure that that all lines up correctly. That's about right there. Now, with any luck, it should just slide right on the way it is. We're still lined up. Come on. That's where it should be, right there. Wait a minute. Where's my lot? I put it on backwards? Maybe that's the problem. No, I didn't. Yeah, there's the dot. Lines up that tooth lines up with that, so this. So this is a tight little fit. Give me a minute, guys, I'm struggling here. It's easier to do this outside of the car with the motor outside of the engine bay. Oh, that's a tooth off. That's about right there. Need more than one hand to do this. Well, I'm looking for my rubber mallet. Thought I had it up here. I don't want to use metal hammer. Oh, where'd that rubber mallet go? Is it the fact that the dowel pin's not lining up? What? There we go. Now maybe? Well, guys, believe it or not, the very moment I turned off the camera, I tried it, it slipped right on. Hand to God. Okay, so struggle with that. So we finally got it on. Now I gotta tighten it up. Let me see. I think it was a 5/8. Yeah. I said to tighten it to 35 pounds. I have no idea what that would be. Probably right about there. I suppose if we could have Yeah, hold on a minute. Let me grab the torque wrench. All right, so we got a torque wrench. And let's see where we are with the 35 pounds. Well, okay. I think I've passed it. I'm gonna try that again. All right, that's 35 pounds. Allegedly. All right, timing chain cover. Got timing chain cover all gooped up. Got the gasket glued on it. I did it this way because this has got pits in it. So I'm trying to make it seal as best as I can. Now we gotta be very careful. Do you see the mistake I am making? Yes, I corrected it off camera. Because I have seen dowel pins down here we gotta line up. Trying to as best as I can. Now the question is, do I have to suck? I have to suck it in. Just won't go back on. Why? Sucking method ain't gonna work. Ah! So we gotta drop, loosen the oil pan. You know, why? It came off no fucking problem. Okay, I'll take it. We are starting reassembly, finally. I am happy. You guys can tell I'm not an engine builder because I'm not taking the time to thoroughly clean all of my bolts. I'm just trying to slap this sucker back together, see if it's going to run. I'm not cleaning up any of the threads. I know that's what you're supposed to do. I'm not doing that. I'm quickly believing that this thing is junk anyway. So if it runs, it's going to be a small miracle. I'm still not convinced it's not going to mix oil with its water. Now what I did on the bottom is I put silicone on the already ruined gasket. It may leak. As a matter of fact, it'd be a small miracle if it doesn't. But I figure if it does leak, if I have to pull the motor once it's assembled, excuse me, and it behaves itself, then I won't mind doing that. Got that on. All right, let me clean those surfaces off real quick. Yay. before I go any further, I want to repaint the top of that. Give me a second.
Let's see. Oop, wrong way. Let's see if we can get this. All right, now we can get her by hand.
All right, let's see if we can spin this bad boy off.
Yummy. We're gonna let that drain while that sets up.
I see one spot that refuses to take paint. All right, I'm going to turn my attention to this nasty water pump that's sitting over here in my parts washer. We're going to get that cleaned up real quick, probably get it painted, and get it busted loose, put the new water pump on, and start this process again. Give me a minute. Guys, I have to admit, the more I work on this thing, the more and more I am not confident that this thing is going to be good. That's after I cleaned it up. This is the water pump housing. Let me show you what else I found. Water pump. I mean, that's pretty terrible. This is after I cleaned it up. That's the water neck. And it's just, the mating surface is just junk. We are working with junk. Cleaned up the bolts. They have that on all four of them. They're missing. Some of the threads are missing. So what I'm doing now is I'm just slapping it together. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna try to clean that up as best as we can. It is what it is, guys. I mean, this surface is junk too. But hey, we got a nice shiny new water pump. This. Let's keep going. Okay guys, I got the water pump assembly put together for the most part. It's over there drying in the paint booth. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna turn our attention to head gaskets. We'll go ahead and lay the head gaskets in, and then we're gonna get the heads bolted on. I wanna do the passenger side first because that's gonna be the biggest headache of them all, because I can't get that manifold out. And it's gonna be a tight working area. Wish me luck. Because nothing on this thing has been easy. By the way, if you are curious, it is Felpro part number 8519PT-1. And it requires 2 of them because there's only 1 per box. Now this rocker shaft on this head is loose, which is a good thing. And there's some dowel pins that are gonna guide this thing on. So that's what we're gonna try and do. All right. Oh boy. Put it down right there. Can I get a foot over here somewhere where I'm not bending things up? Oh boy.
Guys, this is not going to be easy. That side's going to be easier. I kind of, ooh, you know what? Can I stand on the back lip of the engine? Don't drop the head. Don't drop the head. All right. We're attempting it. Come on, baby. Not quite over far enough. Oh, the manifold is not lined up right. Back up. By the way, this is not good for this head. Where can I move this? Can I tie it somehow? Trying to line up. Oh. We're nowhere near close. What's hitting it? Rocker shaft in the way. Oh. Come on. Yeah, this isn't working. Let me regroup. I'm going to get me a ratchet strap or something. For you astute viewers, you will see that there is a blue bungee cord right there. Try to get that manifold up and out of the way. All right. Let's try this again. I have my doubts that this exhaust full gasket's gonna work. What now? What's in the way? Something back here is in the way. I think it's this wiring harness. Just not allowing me to get my hand back there. It's this wiring harness. So can I move it that way? Maybe. Manifold still the damn way. Damn it. Oh, man. I have no idea if it's on or not. It's not doing what I'm supposed to. Oh, you mother. Can't see. Is it on? I have no idea. I think that side's on. This side's not. Yeah, that side's not. That side is. Come on. Ow! All right, it's done. That hurt. Yeah. Hey. Let's get some bolts in it. Yes, I know. I'm not supposed to reuse old head bolts. Ask me if I care. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. This would have been a lot easier with this thing out of the car. I should take this rocker shaft off, but I don't want to. I might need to. There we go. Yeah, I may have to take this rocker shaft off. I mean, it's loose. Yeah, I'll make my life easier. So I can take this off, set it aside. I'm just gonna set this. Let's set this right here for right now. Don't move. Now I can get to these bolts a lot better. So when we go to tighten these, first things first, I'm going to put an extension on all of them and tighten them by hand until they're, hand tight. Then we're going to get our torque wrench on them, and we're going to run them to 50, and then we're going to run them again to 75, and then we're going to run them in a straight line to make sure we didn't miss any. I'm going to do this by hand, y'all. Close enough. I'm not going to hold it down either. So basically, it's just to the weight of it. Come on. Well, let me continue with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start torquing them down. All right, give me a minute, guys. I'm going to finish this up. As I said, we got it hand tight now, so what we're going to do, I got my torque wrench, so we're going to run it up to 50. So we're going to start in the middle, because you have to torque it down in a certain order. If I get my leg in here, you have to torque it down in a certain order so that the head gasket will go down evenly. And if there's any warpage on this block, it'll help with that, I understand. So I'm going to start in the middle one right here. Well, if I can get it in there. There it goes. Really? You're already at 50? I don't buy that. Hold on. I don't buy that. I had it hand tight. Give me a minute. I'm going to grab my other torque wrench. So I got my older one. More of a mechanical, if you will. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, I knew it. That wasn't accurate. So we're right about 50 there. That's number one. We've got 16 more to go. Okay, so we're going to continue to do this at a start pattern, then we're going to go back and do it again at 75. And then we're going to run it all at once at 75, make sure we didn't miss anything, and we're going to go to the next one. Well, we got one side fully assembled. Now I'm going to get the other head on and do that all over again. I'll check in with you guys when I get that put together, and then I think I'm going to call it a night for that part of it. I think I may go so far as put the intake gasket on
And maybe bolt the intake on. I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, looky there. It looks a little bit like a motor, doesn't it? A little bit more like it anyway. So we got the heads on, got the valve train on. Everything's torqued down to spec. Oops, I'll never see that again. Now, on top of this engine is a bunch of goo and dirt and everything else. And as I mentioned, we're going to be flushing this. So we're going to use a little bit of diesel oil as our break-in, if you will. We're not breaking in anything, this is going to be what's used to flush out the engine. We're going to run this, a little bit of motor purge as it arrives, and let it idle for a while if we get the cooling system in and everything like that. See if that leaks, which it probably will. And let's just see if if water mixes with the oil. Ooh, my shoulder does not like that. Give me a minute, I gotta get in here. Let's get all the lifters wet. Make sure to get the cam wet. I do want to, I didn't have a chance to oil the valve train, so we're doing it now. And there's nothing wrong with diesel oil, guys. I mean, it does have some zinc in it, even though it's not the right quote unquote zinc. Oh boy. I can't get to that last lifter. Or rocker, there we go. Try to get these rockers oiled a little bit. All right, so the rest goes in the motor. Forgot to tell you guys, when I put together the timing cover, I forgot to put it in the oil slinger. Next step is going to be intake gasket. Give me a moment. Behold, intake gasket. So, I've already test fitted it. I'm not impressed with the fitment, but I'm gonna try it anyway. You have to put silicone on the ports back here. The ones in the middle are not required. Come on. All right, let's see if we can make this stupid thing fit. I probably made a mistake. Got a little up ahead of myself. Yeah, I'm not impressed with how this thing fits, guys. Because it just doesn't conform the way it's supposed to. Forgot to build my channel wall. I had to get the tie downs for the gasket here. Ow. Come on. There. All right. Now, I don't know if you can hear me or not, guys. I don't have a microphone. So, if my audio is off, I apologize. So we're basically where we were when we started this whole endeavor. It is in. It lines up. Not too happy with how it fits, to be honest with you. I guess it'll flatten out when get the intake on it. The instructions also say that we have to put silicone around the top part of it too for the intake. So that's what I'm about to do now. This is where it gets kind of fun. Trying to play Lego. When you don't know where all your stuff is at because you're an idiot like me, it's a good idea we do this here. Simply because
our mating surfaces are not square. All right. Go in. Okay, guys, I was sitting here making some decisions on where things go because I'm looking at my old pictures when I tore it apart, and I can't tighten down the air compressor. Or I'm sorry, the air compressor. I can't tighten down the intake because some of the bolts are too long because there's supposed to be bracketry on them. So I have to put the air compressor on in order for me to torque down the intake. I may have to take it back off again, but we'll see. Okay. Just want to get this thing buttoned up. For the most part it is. Don't do it. All right. Let's see where this all went. Okay, I think I see. Okay, now let's torque it. We're just going to hammer it down to 50. 50. Or call that 50. 50. We're going to call that 50. Okay, we're at 50 on that one. A little over actually, but that's okay. 50. 45. Bet you that's 50. I'm going to call it 50 anyway. All right. We're going to let this set up overnight so I can pull this thing back off. Finish putting on the water pump because I can't put that on with this in the way. All right, guys. Well, guys, I'm tired. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I've done a lot today. I really have. This thing's starting to look like an engine again. We got the motor almost fully buttoned up. So we got to do a distributor, valve covers. We got to put on the harmonic balancer, the pulley system, the water pump, all the accessories, carburetor, wire it all in, run gasoline to it, put a hot battery on it. What we're going to do is we're going to see if this thing actually still mixes oil with water. Well, I guess I should put in the cooling system too. Tomorrow is going to be cold. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any work done, but we will try. I would like to at least get the valve covers on. Maybe once this thing sets up, remove that air compressor. That is a bear to get on and off that motor. And, just get it completed. So I am going to go inside, get cleaned up, make me a nice adult beverage, and we're going to call it a night. I will see you next time I'm out here, whenever the temperature will allow.
Good early afternoon. It's been about 3 days since I was last out here. The reason being is because we got hit with a snow and ice storm, and we've had temperatures below 20 degrees out here for quite some time. And I don't know if you can tell this or not, guys, but I'm working in a shop space that is not insulated at all. So whatever temperature it is outside, it's what it is in here. And in the summertime, it's warmer in here than it is outside. So I just got over being really, really sick, and I don't want to experience that again. So I had to take a few days off from this. It just simply was too cold. I mean, I got a small space heater, but I don't do much in this 900 square foot space. And I mean, I got like, I think the peak of the roof is like 25 foot. And let me show you. See the peak of that roof, well, the post of the lift foot in the way. Yeah, the peak up there is about 25 foot. And the rafters, you know, right in here, right here. That's about 15 foot, if I'm not mistaken. So that little space heater doesn't do much. When I have it turned on, I have, you know, one side of me that feels warmer than the other, and that's about it. I don't want to catch pneumonia out here, guys. It's about 38, 39 degrees, so it's not terribly cold right now. I'm bundled up pretty good. I got layers on, so we're out here. We're going to be twisting wrenches here in a minute. Hopefully by the end of the day, before I stop working on this, I'll hear it go vroom, and we'll see if it still mixes oil with its water. If it doesn't, we will continue on with the rest of the car. Transmission. The fluid in that thing is cherry, not red. It's dark cherry, and it smells burnt. Look at the differential. Look at the brakes. Do the brakes, because we know we're going to have to do that. Wiring is going to be an issue. Then we have to clean it up. So we're a long, long way away from getting this thing to where it's even roadworthy. But it's all going to hinge on that engine behaving itself. Let's go ahead and stop yakking. Let's start wrenching, and we'll go from here. Well, guys, I'm a couple hours in, and I haven't twisted a bolt yet. Let me show you what I'm doing. I'm actually prepping stuff for paint, because I figured, I got to thinking about it, everything's going to go back on this engine, needs to be ready to go and painted. And since it is 37 degrees inside the shop, it's taking a while for things to flash off, like a good while. So I've been doing that. I got the valve covers sitting over here. If you look closely, you see those little tabs? Yeah. I got the gaskets on there. I'm letting those set up. I ran out of RTV, and I have one small tube, I mean dinky tube of, what is this, gray? Sure. I'll use that on the water pump stuff. Probably should go with blue stuff, but I'm not going to the store. It's still icy outside. I got the fan over here. I'm going to paint it up. I got a new fan clutch for it. I was thinking maybe just trying to wash it, because it actually still has its factory part number on it, and that's kind of cool. So if I can get this thing to get clean-ish, it's not like you see the fan, I may just clean it. That's definitely going to get painted and cleaned up. So let me get started with all that, and I'll start filming again when we start twisting bolts. I'm going to show you what I'm working on, guys. I told you as soon as I started turning bolts, I was going to get you in on this. So, got my new fan clutch from Four Seasons. It's a ordered through Rock Auto, part number. Now inside the box, it came with that fan clutch right there. And, oh great, now I don't know where I put it. Anywho, it came with a bag of hardware, and it's around here somewhere. I gotta find it. And in that hardware was 4 lock washers, no bolts. As you can see, those require bolts. What came out of the old fan clutch are studs. Now I did manage to take one out just to see if it's the same thread. They're not. So beware of that. Now I just so happen to have 4 bolts in stock that'll fit that. That is a short, small miracle because I don't stock bolts at all. Now I need to find those lock washers so I can put those on. This is brass, that's aluminum. I know you're not supposed to do that, but at this point I don't care. Will it hold on the fan clutch? Yes. Okay, that's all we need. So let me find that stupid bag and get those lock washers on, and we'll go from there. Give me a minute. Okay, lock washers acquired. That's all it came with that pump. So we're gonna put those on here. Now, I'm opting not to paint the fan. I did that for a couple of reasons. It's fairly shiny-ish. I mean, that's the side you're gonna see with it in the car. It's okay. That's the side you're gonna see on the outside. I didn't paint the fan for a couple of reasons. One, it has its original part number on it there and on the back. So that's kind of cool. I didn't want to paint over that. Like I said, I'm just trying to make the engine bay look as good as possible. That, you're going to hell with it. So we're just going to go ahead and slap this bad boy on. It goes on like that. I know because of the witness marks. If it wasn't for the witness marks, I would not know which way. I'd have to study it. So, something like that. Maybe, possibly. Yeah, like that. Sorry, guys. All right, washers. There we go. I got 4 of them. Sorry, I got a little bit of plastic in my mouth because I'm doing this one-handed. Yeah, brass hardware with cheap Chinesium, but I think it's steel. What they call steel anyway. I probably got more metal alloy in my body than it's in that washer. Let's get these things started, and we're gonna get this slapped on. Here we are, guys. Trying to make the determination of where all my bolts went for this thing. So let's go ahead and put the easy one on first, if I can. It won't let me. Oh yeah, just, okay. Got that one to start. I'm definitely going to need to get an extension for that one bolt. All right, let me see if I can find it. I'm not going to film while I look for it, so give me just a second. Probably find it the moment I turn off the camera. All right, tell you what. This thing fights me every step of the way. At this point, it's almost easier just to raise the car up. Yep, it's easier to get the car up in the air. All right. One of the best tools ever invested in is this lift, guys. Highly recommend getting one. As you probably know, I don't buy anything brand new. I bought my lift secondhand. Now, valve covers, you have to overly tighten them, just get them tight. You don't want to bend them up, cause them to leak. And of course, it ain't the socket. Ow! Is this happening, you guys? Keep on losing bolts
Tools. Well, where is it? Where'd it land? Uh-oh. Well, it went somewhere. Is it on the frame, maybe? Oh, man. Oh, I see it. I see it. It's way back there. It's on the rail, the lip of the,
Did you see the car just move on the lift? Don't do what I did and not use the stops on your 4-post lift. If you don't use them, it will kill you.
lift. Alright. What sucks is that's the easy one. Passenger side is the much harder one to do. Now I'm gonna lose you again. You know what, I'm not gonna try. If you leak, you leak. I don't care. Here's my little dilemma. God, I wish I had a shoulder that was decent here, but I don't. Problem is I don't have any strength in this right arm. I can't move it certain ways. Come on. Oh, I have to get in here. Okay. Oh. Now what? There it goes. Come on. Come on. Yeah, let's just put everything over your valve cover so you can't ever get to it while you're not wanting to go on. There we go. Okay, what am I? All my wire is not going there. Just make sure. Don't need that. That's an old head bolt. Yeah, I think we're there, all right. Oh, you know, while I'm here, I think I'm going to shift gears from putting the engine together. I'm going to try to get, everything on this identified and plugged in properly. I think that would be not a bad thing to do. Fun fact, I curse a lot in my day-to-day life. And it's really hard for me to clean it up with you guys. I hope you appreciate the effort. I really do. It is a conscious effort for me to clean up my language. Truly, truly, truly is. I spent 4 years in professional radio. Trust and believe, it wasn't easy. It was not easy. I am almost willing to bet money that our alternators will need to be replaced. There's that, and the voltage regulator too. All right, now comes the hard one. All right, that one's on. Oh. Eighth of a turn at a time. All right, I believe everything is on properly. Here's what we're going to do real quick. I'm going to take off this air compressor. I'm going to swing it over off to the side.
right. That's well, guys, it doesn't look like I've done much today. However, if you stop and look at everything, I've done a lot of cleanup work. I mean, I cleaned up the frame a little bit, or the K-frame a little bit. See a few other areas I need to touch up on real quick before I go shut it down for the evening. We got a bunch of little doodads and knickknacks and little parts that have been painted up, ready to go back in. We're going to be assembling that tomorrow. Back on the car. You know, we got fan clutch installed in the fan, ready to go. Did a bunch of cleanup on some bolts. Got all this stuff done. It's ready to go back on the car. And we come over here. That radiator turned out pretty good. Of course, it got my door a little bit and on the floor, but no big deal. You can actually see where it was leaking in the camera pretty well. But when it's in the car, I don't think a lot of people are going to notice. That will leak. That's a 100% guarantee. But the motor purse stuff did come in. I'm going to show you that tomorrow. Because tomorrow my goal is to, now that everything's cleaned up as far as parts are concerned, the biggest hurdle is going to be finding where all the little bolts go. I wanted to have a really big push tomorrow. My goal for tomorrow is going to be to fire the car up. And we'll see if we either continue on with this little project or if we're dead in the water. A lot of work to get to this point. But I'm glad I did it. I learned quite a bit. You know, keep in mind, guys, I don't do this professionally. I'm just a guy. Have a shop. This is a hobby. I've been doing this most of my life, but when I say I've been doing this most of my life, I haven't been building motors. I'm not a motor builder. I've always paid to have my stuff rebuilt. I've assisted in assembly. I've assisted in putting motors in and out of a car. I've done that. I can R&R a motor and transmission with like nobody's business, but I'm not a motor builder, so a little bit out of my league. So hopefully we fixed it. The only thing that comes to my mind that would cause it to still mixed oil with water is a cracked block. And after 30 years of it sitting, what kind of condition was it sitting in originally? Who knows? I will see you guys tomorrow morning. All right, guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Well, good late afternoon. It's like almost 4:30. I've had a kind of a late start of the day, and that is because I have ran all over God's creation trying to find nuts for the exhaust. But let me show you what I've done thus far. I did do a little bit of cleanup work and whatnot to everything after I shut it down. Sorry guys, I accidentally turned off the camera. But I got this mess figured out and everything's labeled. We got 2 AC lines going to the air compressor. We got, what is this? That is the temperature sitting unit. There's also a temperature switch as well. And that is to the alternator, and this one up here that's not labeled, that goes to the coil. So all that's ready to go. And went ahead and put some new fittings on it, on a couple of these, especially that one. Went on ahead and ran a new wire from the, can't see, ran a new wire and got it ready to go for the alternator. This goes to the other terminal on the alternator. I guess it's to excite it because that's the voltage regulator. The wiring to the voltage regulator looks okay. The only question is that even going to work? I have my doubts. I have my doubts about this bad boy too. I mean, that's, yeah. It it's tight. Bearing in there is okay-ish, I guess, but that thing's seen better days. So I'm gonna try to do as much as I can today. I mean, it's such a late start in the day, I don't know what I can or cannot get done. But I got to put together that water pump assembly. I'd like to get that on the car today and maybe hang the pulley on the bottom and yeah, just go from there. So let's go ahead and make sure all of our surfaces are cleaned up and just go from there. So give me a few minutes while I get that done and then we'll hang that thing on the car. Okay guys, I want to show you what I've done just to suck this up on in there where the gasket is. We bolted up from the top and on the bottom. This is not permanent, obviously, because the bracketry is not in the right place. But yeah, that's how we're gonna suck it in there. We're gonna let that gasket set up and dry. That way I can remove those bolts and get the accessory drive on the way it's supposed to be. So what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna move our attention real quick over to putting a thermostat in it real fast. I'm gonna clean up that little area right there. As you can see, it's quite porous, so we're gonna put some RTV on it. And I got the gasket. We're gonna put the thermostat in that, RTV it, put the gasket on, bolt it up, let it sit up. Let me go ahead and try to do that real quick and I'll be right with you. Yeah, after this video, guys, I'm gonna try to get my big camera working. Filming it with this particular cell phone is not doing it for me. I apologize. The camera work sucks on this video. I promised to do better. It is what it is. Let me grab the gasket real quick. Yeah, this housing is junk. Then again, the whole car is junk. Let's be honest. We're going to RTV both sides of this poor thing. Check our fitment, and there's no way that fits. That is not the correct gasket. Forgive me, I'm an idiot. This is the exhaust flange gasket. So that means I don't have a gasket for this thing. Great. So that means I get to go back to the store. All right, guys, let's shift gears real quick. Let's go ahead and get the bottom pulley on. I need to keep my feet moving on this as best as I can. So let's get that lower pulley on, we'll go from there. Well, I'm back. Y'all can see that, like the brand new. So let's see if we can't mount this bad boy. Doing it this way, out of the car, or in the car, you simply cannot see. All right, it started. Yeah, I have a feeling I have to take off. I think I gotta take off this bolt. It won't go around. So let's do that real quick. Yep. Live and learn, I guess. I didn't know that. Yes. Okay. Slowly but surely, I guess. Not even close. Go on a certain way? Is it drilled for a certain... Give me a minute, guys. I got to do some research on this. Well, guys, I got it lined up. Apparently, it's drilled offset. There's 6 bolts. They're not equal. There's a wider area and the rest are narrow, so you have to line it up properly, and it took me a minute to figure out where they all go. I did reinstall the maiden bolt because that had no effect on it whatsoever. So now what we're doing is we're just snugging these down. All right. They're all on. Can't really go any further until I get a thermostat gasket. And looking outside, the weather's starting to, or sun's going down. There's quite a bit of half melted streets out there. It's gonna refreeze. Unfortunately, I think we're at a standstill for this evening. I'm gonna call O'Reilly, see if I can get one on order. Maybe have them deliver it here tomorrow. You know, one other thing I can do is I can put the spark plugs in it. Let's go ahead and get that done. I'm going to try and do the driver's side first because, well, it's the hardest one to do. And I still have the manifold off. It's quite easy to get to without the manifolds and everything in the way. This side's normally a real pain. Even with the manifold out of the way, the steering box is in my way. So I'm gonna put the socket on first. Oh, you goddamn kidding me. You can't get a socket, wrench on that. That's the 3/4 out. Yes. Do it this way. Well, one way to skin a cat. There's a reason why they have it hex like that, so you can get a wrench on it. That very scenario. I think I got to this one from the underside. Well, you know what that means. Okay, guys, I got that one in. It was very much a bear. Now I just want to see if I can at least just hang the exhaust manifold over here. See if I can get it in.